Your ability to analyze and find winning products will ultimately determine your success as an Amazon seller. The call you're about to watch is a recording of a Zoom call I did the other day on all things product analysis with about 50 other Amazon sellers. So if you're interested in that, make sure you stick around for the entire video. Let me know any questions below, and I appreciate you being here.
Kind of want to give a little bit of overview about who you are, then kind of dive into what SellerAmp is, some of the stuff we might be talking tonight, then kind of can just get into it.
Yeah, so my name's Miles. I go by Flips for Miles online, and I would like to say I'm as pure better reseller as there is, right? I started out, I was like trading Legos and stuff back in like 2011, 2012 for a while, basically just online with people through different mediums and such basically. Then eventually got into shoe reselling, right? It's like, I'd say like the most purebred type of reselling there is. Hustling, waiting outside at malls and stuff like that to try and get inventory basically. And then in 2017, I learned what StockX was. And that allowed me to sell stuff without having to negotiate people on eBay or Facebook groups. That gave me a lot more leverage, right? Because that became the only obstacle in my way was getting the right inventory. Because I knew it would sell. I didn't have to worry about negotiating with people getting scammed or anything like that, because StockX and Go were such good marketplaces essentially. And then in 2019, I learned what Amazon FBA was, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe people are selling books and dish soap and water bottles and tripods and stuff like that on Amazon. It really opened me up to the world of reselling that wasn't just shoes, basically on that. Now, the problem here was back in the day, you couldn't get ungated in it. Right now, luckily, anyone watching this, you guys can get ungated very easily these days, right? And everything, but it used to be a lot harder, and everything. So I did used books on Amazon for about 2 years, and then during the pandemic, they made it a lot easier to get ungated. So I got into that, and immediately once I learned what ungating was, it was go time immediately, dude. Like once I could sell all different types of product, toys, Nike, Adidas stuff, and everything like that, it just became go time immediately. I did like 30K in revenue my second month, all merchant filled, completely bootleg coupons, ripping away on Zoom all night with my friends, learning the stuff basically. And the whole time I'm doing this, right? Building my personal brand. I'm building up the Flips for Miles page. So I'm consistently talking about whatever I'm interested in at the time, right? And that was attracting people that were interested in Amazon, making money, reselling, stuff like that. So from the start, I've been able to, really leverage the community and such, and make friends with people, make money with people, build partnerships, trade ideas. So that's made it really easy from the get-go, basically. And like the guys I do my podcast with, we have a great episode with you, Casey, on from a few months ago, the buybox bandits. We were like trading leads, Zooming all the time from the get-go, and that made it a lot easier. So I ended up doing like $1 million in revenue my first year on online arbitrage, and then about 2.4 last year, and should do right around the same this year and everything. So I'm like super passionate about how this can change your life, because it totally changed mine. I know it changed yours, Casey, as well. And we're very lucky to be able to make money like this. And, whatever the medium, Amazon, eBay, if you make friends and do the right stuff, you can make a bunch of money and have a bunch of fun doing this stuff and everything. So that's the basis of how it got started, right? And then in 2021, during Q4, I have a Discord that I do, like a free Discord, right? And this software company called SellerAmp decided to sponsor us, right? And I was looking, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like exactly what I would want if I wanted to have my own software. So like, let's talk to them about trying to partner up, right? And so now I'm lucky enough to be a part owner in SellerAmp as well. So we're going to talk through all that stuff, online arbitrage. I got a lead I'm going to break down for you guys, show you kind of how that works and everything. Love to do some Q&A. So if you guys got any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and everything. But we should be on for 30 minutes or so, chopping up and everything about online arbitrage. Specifically on Amazon. I love the way Casey talks about eBay too. That stuff has me like excited. I don't know, dude. I've never done a ton of eBay stuff, but it's intriguing, right? Because it shows there's tons of ways to win with this stuff. And at the end of the day, if you can locate, big name brand stuff that people are interested in, they're going to buy it off these different marketplaces, whether it's Amazon, eBay, Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace, etc. And you can build a really nice side hustle or eventually business if you want to, doing this stuff. And it's, we're really lucky to be able to do it. You can pick who you work with. A lot of cool friends that do it as well. A lot of cool people on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, etc. And all that. So I love reselling, love hanging out with people like you guys and everything. So down to chop it up on anything you guys need and and all that. But thanks for having me, Casey.
Yeah, dude, right on. So like we said, gonna try to keep this probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so. So a lot to cover, especially with all this stuff SellerAmp has, which is kind of like the focus tonight, not just, the overview, but actually kind of doing maybe not like live sourcing, but at least live analysis with it.
Yeah.
So do you want to share, you kind of touched on it right now, you have the shirt on. Do you want to share a little bit about what that is? And then, I think you said you might have had a lead up, kind of walk us through what it looks like for analyzing leads with that. I know I use it pretty much everybody that I source with. I think something you're a big, just as an aside, you're a big proponent of, and something that I do as well, is like sourcing in groups of people is kind of one of the most valuable things out there. And I'm not just talking about joining like a big Discord group like Launchpad or like mine, but literally just like I have some guys where it might just be 2 of us, 3 of us, where it's just we're on a Zoom call for 4 hours each, like finding leads, throwing back and forth with each other. And that's helped me grow a ton when I was scaling, and I still do it. But I know all of us are using it, but to somebody who either doesn't use it, or even someone like me who's been using it for a long time, I'm still sure there's tons of stuff I don't know about it or new ways that I can be using it. Do you want to share a little bit about just what it is and kind of walk us through what analyzing a lead with SellerAmp looks like?
Sure. Right. So with every product you want to potentially sell on Amazon, or actually any marketplace for that matter, right? There's a couple data points you need to know, right? So the first one is, does it sell, right? Which is, okay, how quick does that product sell, right? So we're going to walk through all this visually, but SellerAmp tells you how quick an item sells, right? And then you can also see how quick and at what price that item sold over time, which gets me into number 2, which is, so, right, we got the, does it sell, right? And then is it profitable? Right? So you got to know, are you going to make money? Now, when you're selling on Amazon, you got Amazon fees, you got product costs, you got shipping, yada, 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 a bunch of stuff, right? So the SellerAmp profit calculator factors in all of that, right? And then the third one is, can you sell it? Which, as we had alluded to prior, ungating used to be a very difficult thing for Amazon sellers. Now, luckily these days it's not. But you can check your eligibility for different products with SellerAmp as well as a beginner. And then in terms of functionality, right? So there's, lots of different ways to get products and such. We got like retail arbitrage, right? So we have a mobile app for that. We have, and then for like online arbitrage, wholesale, anything you're doing on the computer, we have Chrome extension and web app with that. So we got you, if you want to scan products in store, you can scan a barcode like that, and then you can see exactly what an item sells for, everything like that. And I'll show you guys the Chrome extension as well, basically. But it's kind of like holds your hand throughout the entire process and aims to help you avoid mistakes, right? And just make better buying decisions so you can navigate quicker, make more money, not run into issues, we used to when we didn't know our numbers and everything. Because at the end of the day, this is a capital-based business, and you need to know your numbers, know if you're making money or not. And SellerAmp helps you make that do it and everything. Then so I figure we'll do Q&A at the end, so people can feel free to drop questions in the chat and everything as we're going and everything. Cool. Sounds good. Well, so we'll hop on my screen, talk through a little bit about what SellerAmp is, what it does, get a visual guide of it, Casey.
Yep, that'd be perfect. Here, let me know.
Let's do it. Yeah, so this is where I hang out the most, right? So the Chrome extension, I'm huge into online arbitrage and everything, so we can take a look. So you want to make it so I can screen share here?
Yep, you should be able to. Let me just see here.
Cool. All right, let's get it right here. Okay, so right off the bat. So I'll do like a full demo right here, but basically, so we can see over here on the right, so this is like the basis of the SellerAmp Chrome extension right here, right? So a lot of people don't know you can actually make it as like fat or as skinny as you want, basically, on that. And then we can also move it around. If we hit the bottom here, bada bing, you can also embed it right here and make it like really fat in there. I'm personally biggest fan of on the right screen. There are some debates on Twitter from time to time about where the SellerAmp goes, right? So I'm personally a fan of the right side. Agreed.
I'm team left.
It's interesting, right? And it just kind of depends like your monitor setup and such too. But you have a choice around where you want to put it and everything. So right off the bat, now the vast majority of the info you're going to need for a specific product is going to come from this initial page right here, right? So we can see the name of the product, the ASIN number. So it's pretty self-explanatory. The UPC. Now, right here is the dimensions. Now, this is especially important if you're looking to FBM something, right? Which we'll talk about in a little bit. Right here as well, we can see the product description. Never going to really need to look at that too much. Right here, this button right here, the A just opens up the Amazon product page. Conveniently, we're already on that right now. Now, here's really important. We'll talk a little bit more about this, but if you just click this G button, then we can go ahead and locate this product on Google. Right. And see, okay, what's it going for? Is it profitable, etc. On that. as well. So we got the check alerts panel. I'm not logged into Amazon Seller Central on this, but this is how you would check if you were actually ungated in a product right there. And then over to its right, we got the alerts right here. Right now, the alerts are very, very important because, you know, if there's a product that potentially has IP complaint history or suspected IP complaint history, or it's meltable, or it has variations. For example, this specific item has a couple different sizes, a couple different colors. So there's a lot of different ASINs potential on here, right? And we'll dig into more of that too, right here. And then I actually picked this product specifically because we can see the estimated sales is pretty low right here. And I wanted to dig into some of the nuance around why it's saying the estimated sales is so low, because we can see this product is a 50K BSR right here, which is pretty decent, right? You know, anything below sub 100K or so, you know, tends to move right there. Now, however, this product shows an estimated sales of 22 per month, which is very, very low. Now, the key here is if we scroll down, we can see on the Keepa chart, historically, the rank has been significantly higher, right? And now the reasoning on that is, I assume it was originally a separate listing and got added to the parent listing that has all these different sizes and colors, etc. Right here. So that's like kind of the reasoning on that. So it's important to not just factor in estimated sales, but really take the time to look in and dig in a specific product, which you're going to get significantly better at over time. Right there. But BSR, it's a good rule of thumb, you know, stay below 100,000 for the most part. Right there. Occasionally you can go higher depending on competition and such right there. But yes, that's like the basis of the quick info right here as well. The heavy hitter, which you guys will probably be using the most, is the profit calculator right here. Now, we can see at a $99 sale price, right, to hit a target ROI of 30%, we would need our max cost to be $58 or less, right? So for example, if we can pay $56 for this product, right, we would make $20 profit, which is about a 19.5% profit margin and about a 35% ROI. Right, and we can see our break-even price about $76. Now, this specific item, I actually had it pulled up in advance. We can see Finish Line has a good sale going on right now. We can grab this thing for $55, and we can see that it retails at $130. Right now, obviously, I don't want you to go buy this product. There's a bunch of people watching this call right now. But conceptually, understanding what an online arbitrage product looks like, right? We can see now it retails at $130. And we can buy it for $55, right? And then we can see on Amazon, it sells for about $99, right? So if we plug that in on SellerAmp, 99 right there, we can see, say we were to buy this from Finish Line right now, this is after shipping, product cost, sales tax, everything like that, we would make $20 profit and about a 37% ROI. Right here. And also, you know, if you're newer to online arbitrage, you do want to be using a cashback portal. You do want to be checking out through an account so you can get rewards. We want to maximize every penny we can get on there and everything. But it's pretty fun stuff, right? So it breaks down basically profit calculator and such. A little bit more info down here. Not a huge fan of looking at this data. You can get a lot of it from the quick info, but it kind of depends like how you like to consume it. And such basically, so we can see BSR is in the top 0.02%. Typically anything in the top 1% is good. Right there, I'm not super looking at that. I'm, you know, trying to stay under like 50,000 rank for the most part for my own products. However, when you're a beginner, 100,000 is cool. 110,000, 120,000 is cool because we can see on the Keepa chart that the sales rank can vary a lot. In that 2 weeks ago, this was a 70K BSR, right, on June 12th. Right. And then today it's about a 50,000 BSR here. So we can see it changes a lot and such. So it's much more important to see that trend over time, which you can actually see if you go here, data, product details on Keepa. You're going to be able to see the averages over time. Now we can see the 30-day average about 600,000 right there. The key was that, like I said, this was a detached listing that got added to the main listing basically. So it's safe to assume it sells pretty quick. On there, and we can see estimated sales, time to sell, etc. You can refresh the data if you want to as well. Never really done that actually, but it's like kind of cool that you can do it. I didn't really know about that feature and everything. Now here is very important, the alerts, right? Because personally, not a fan of sharing the buy box with Amazon. Private label is unlikely. It's a Nike product. It's obviously not private label. Now, sometimes you are going to see it say private label if it's like a big name brand. That's typically due to the competition amount, basically on there, and that typically you want to sell products that other people are selling. Now, occasionally it can be a very good opportunity to buy stuff that other people aren't selling. You just got to make sure that the brand, you can see the keep it chart over time and get a sense of if other third-party sellers are making money on it, right? Right there. Size, standard size, pretty straightforward. Is it a meltable? I hope no shoes are melting and such on that and everything. Now continuing along, so you can also see the keep it charts in here, which you can also see if I pull this up on the mobile app. I got this book next to me right here. Say you're scanning in store, we can scroll down and see the keep it chart in there. Now this is huge, right? Because a big problem with retail arbitrage is that, you know, the margins are really good with retail arbitrage, but you don't have as much data if you're just scanning stuff with the Amazon Seller app. So using the SellerAmp app, you can actually go ahead and see the keep it chart over time on a specific product and be able to see the price action and demand history, as well as competition history over time, right there and everything, which is pretty cool. You can also see that all time, yearly, 3 months, so on and so forth. Basically on that, which is pretty cool. Now down here is, I would say, the most underrated, one of the most underrated parts, basically right here. So we can see the profit calculator right here. Pretty similar to what we looked at up in the quick info. However, we do have the option to toggle on FBM rank. Right now, I mentioned the dimensions being important earlier. That comes from scrolling up here, and then we can see the dimensions and the weight. Right now, that factors in for FBM shipping. Right here, and that I know something above 1 pound tends to ship for like $12. UPS averaged out $12, like 9 to 13, like around 11 to 12 bucks, basically right there. So some products are actually better to FBM rather than FBA. A good rule of thumb is if a product is less than 1 pound, but it's above like 25, 30 bucks, it's typically a little bit cheaper to FBA rather than FBM. Now, will you be able to get the buybox FBM? It's very product specific. You got to dig in. You got to go down to the offer, see if there's FBM people selling it, see if they're getting buybox, etc. That's kind of a presentation for another day, basically on that. But we can see, say we're at FBM, let's ship it for like 11 bucks. We can see we'd only make a 33% ROI, right? Meanwhile, if we FBA this, we'd make a 37% ROI. So this specific product is better FBM. Right, as well. You can also toggle this on for small and light if this was a product that qualified for it. Absolutely isn't. Right there, and then we can also see a total fee breakdown as well. And this feature is pretty cool too. You can do like quantity. If you do like 5 of these, then it pops up and shows exactly how much you would make if you were to buy 5 of them. Right there. Variations feature still in beta. Don't need to cover that too much for now right here. As well as, okay. Coming up on the last couple of things here. So we can see Google Sheets. Now, this is very, very important. Wrote a whole Twitter thread about this the other day. You need to be staying organized with this stuff, right? Casey, are you using the Google Sheets?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to be staying organized with this stuff, right? Because we're spending all this time doing product research, and you find a lot of products that might be out of stock. They're close to being good, or they were good 2 weeks ago. They're not good today. Stuff ebbs and flows in and out of profitability. Right. So you want to make sure you're staying as organized as possible with this stuff. Right. So you guys can see I got a bunch of different spreadsheets right here. I got like one for checking in the future, one for seasonal products, purchase leads, one for a video example, Halloween, out of stock, back to school, Q4, almost good. Right. Because we're putting all this time into finding stuff. You want to maximize the lifetime value you can get from each ASIN. Right there. So what you could do is say this product, you might not want to buy it now. I definitely wouldn't buy this now just because there's a bunch of people on this call. But say this was close to being good, but wasn't quite good. You might put this on the almost good sheet, right? Or let's say this was a backpack that's 20% ROI right now. Back to school is coming up. Very good chance that increases in price and increases in demand during back to school. So that might be something you want to put in your back to school spreadsheet right there. And everything additionally, you can put like notes and tags on different ones basically. But what's cool about the Google Sheets, you just like one click and then just exports to your sheet essentially. So that's like fantastic for virtual assistant management and stuff like that. And everything. You can also add a little note on a specific product. So this is really helpful for your VAs, in terms of management and such, or virtual assistants as well. Quick discounts. I don't use this too much, but some people love this. right? Because a lot of the money with online arbitrage is with like the coupons and stuff like that and everything. So like it's pretty cool, you know what I mean? And everything you just one click and then it discounts it essentially right there. We can see the offers right here too, which breaks down how many other sellers there are and on that listing, what price they are, and then what price you would make at that price, that sell price, right? And then whether they're FBI, FVM, etc. Right there. Additionally, down here we can just see our lookup details and like some kind of quick ones right here. Okay, good question here. So on your SellerAmp settings, what should you set your shipping per unit cost, right? Or per pound cost. So I'm a fan of 30 cents per pound. My typical shipping is lower than that. Basically what you guys all want to be doing within your SellerAmp is go to selleramp.com and hit the top right and hit settings. And then you're actually going to be able to enter in a FBA shipping cost estimate. Basically, and I recommend putting in 30 cents per pound on that, as well as your sales tax and any prep cent cost if you have. That way, the numbers you're seeing on Seller are the exact numbers you're going to make on a specific product. Right there. So we kind of did a good walkthrough of the Chrome extension. It's almost the exact same in terms of the mobile app right there, where you can just scan a product and it shows up the results. Very, very similar on that. Additionally, so say you want to see all this data really nicely laid out on one page. You can go here and hit the web app, which is going to open up all the data in a beautiful setting right here. So say you want to dig deeper on a product, right? Maybe it's something you're buying a wholesale dose a little bit more on, and everything. So be able to take advantage of that as well as, right, SellerAmp helps you qualify products. It also helps you find more products, right? Which comes from going down here to offers, and then we can see the review counts and the names of all the different sellers that are selling this product, right? So for example, right, say we open up this seller right here, we can now take a look inside their storefront now and see the review count they have, the ASIN count they have, so how many different products they have, and then we can also see what brands they like to carry, as well as what categories they like to carry. So over time, it's really important to start seeing patterns when you're doing this stuff, right? That's the key to making money with arbitrage, is start to see patterns. What retailers work really well for you? What sales on different retailers work well for you? What brands work well for you? And storefront stalking, which is a great way to find products looking inside the catalogs of other sellers, is how you do that, right? So say you really like Fila, for example. You could hop into the seller and filter into the Puma stuff they're carrying. And now what we can do is we have a tailored list of all the products that fit in a specific brand that we like to carry. We can scroll through and see the BSR, the max cost, the offer count, so the competition, the buy box price, as well as the keep it chart, right? So if these metrics make sense, you can hit nicely quick, open this up, right? Take a look at this item, then you can one-click Google it. Or if you're a little bit more confident, you can just hit one-click Google, search for product right there. And then we can start to see and get a sense of like whether or not something's profitable, right? Because we can see our max cost right there. And then we can quickly Google it to see if we can find anything that's close to that, or that we could coupon to be close to that, right? So basically that's kind of like storefront stock and reverse source, and basically the same thing. That's how that works with online arbitrage on there. So now we're thinking, okay, how do I know a good storefront to look there, right? And so the sweet spot I'd say is in like the 50 to 1,000 review range. And you're mainly going to want to be looking at FBA sellers, right? Because you don't want to look at too many FBM sellers because it might be drop shipping, and sure, you will start to eventually keep track of competitors you see often on your listings. And that's one of those patterns we talked about, right? And that there's people, I've been storefront stocking for years because they're consistently finding new products, and I let them do the hard work to locate the products. And then I just take a look at what they're selling and go out and look for those basically on that and everything right there. So yeah, right. In terms of storefront stocking, right, we can see what brands the seller's carrying, what categories a seller's carrying, and then we can go through and filter into those to see all the different products they're carrying within that brand or category. And so over time, you're going to learn your favorite brands you like, your favorite categories you like, and this is going to help you deduce it down and get tailored lists of products from people that have a similar business model to you, right? Because say you sourced an item retail arbitrage from Ollie's, for example, you can go in online and take a look at the competitors on that listing and go ahead and see other products they're probably getting from Ollie's or Kohl's online or Target in-store and start to see these patterns, right? Because that's where a lot of the money is with online arbitrage and everything. So that's like the basis of SellerAmp in terms of like reverse sourcing and online arbitrage. On top of SellerAmp, so SellerAmp is paid. You can try it for free at selleramp.com right there. I also like having a couple free extensions, which are Capital One Shopping, which you actually don't need a Capital One credit card to get. Rakuten, Honey, Be Frugal, Top Cashback. Anything I'm missing on that, Casey? I know
those are pretty much all the ones. Retail Me Not, and I use.
I know you're a dog with the cash back, so yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you too. It pays rent and then some. You can make a living off cash back once you start scaling. So no point.
Yeah, seriously, right? And there's so many like I really just like this business model because like all that matters is can you find products, which is required scale. The nice thing is you can do it when you want, with who you want. So I can do it with my boys, right? It's a lot of fun like that. You can, grind on Discord with people and everything, can make money from home. So yeah, like SellerAmp definitely helps with that. But like at the end of the day, like online arbitrage is awesome. Like people are in the right place. You do some good stuff with it. I know it changed your life, totally changed my life as well. And it's a lot of fun. And SellerAmp's been a big part of helping us avoid mistakes with that and everything. So yeah, money making mania in here. Yes, sir. Absolutely, Justin. And everything. So yeah, I don't think I missed anything on that. This is a good, basically, I love talking about it. Love talking about online arbitrage. Anything else we want to get into? Anyone got any questions or anything like that? You got any questions for me, Casey?
Yeah, I think, like I said, want to definitely open up some time for everyone to ask some questions. I think one thing that would just be super helpful for everyone is me asking. I think one thing I see a lot of time from new sellers, especially now that they start using SellerAmp and specifically the profit calculator feature, is they zone in super big on the like, dude, I just found a 93% ROI lead. This is sick. And then I'm like, hey, let me take a look. And I'm like, okay, like the ROI looks great, but there's a bunch of other reasons why I probably wouldn't actually flip this personally. Would you mind sharing, both related to like doing research in SellerAmp as well as just doing OA in general? What are some common false positives that you might see where somebody either might be a new seller, new to SellerAmp, where they get not shiny object syndrome. I know I was definitely guilty at first where it was like, oh, I found this like 130% ROI lead. And I kind of forget that, oh, wait, it needs to sell for me to get that 130% ROI. What are some of those like false positives that you think that you're seeing a lot, both using SellerAmp to kind of find leads as well as maybe more just in general where somebody, the ROI might look great, but maybe that's something you want to stay away from?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So basically like, okay, where are my eyes going when I see a specific product, right? When I open up, where are my eyes going, right? So immediately, right? Luckily these days, I have a decent eye for stuff. I can kind of look at a product and have a decent eye of it. That comes with time and comes with specific category knowledge, right? Immediately I'm looking at velocity. Okay. Is this thing selling? Yes or no? If it's yes, because I'm typically reverse sourcing. So I'm looking at the VSR in here, right? So yes. Okay. I'm going to look further into it, right? Okay, am I familiar with the brand or not? If I am, then I can keep going through with it. If I'm not familiar with the brand, okay, I got to figure out if they IP complain. I got to figure out if other people are carrying it, right? Which luckily, when you're doing reverse sourcing, you're only looking at other third-party sellers. So that's already vetted right there. Now, we do definitely want to take a look at the Keepa chart, whether that be on Keepa itself or whether that's on SellerAmp. And we obviously don't have to do this for a Nike product. But you want to look at it over time and see if there's been any really, really steep drops. Like, let me actually pull up an example of one of these. This was a sick bolo back in the day, but unfortunately, it did IP implant. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like, basically. Right here, if we go over here, right, scroll down on Keepa, or we can even do it on SellerAmp for that matter. And then go to the year long. We can see, look at this right here. So that went from 73 sellers on January 8th. Down to 2 on January 11th. So that's a clear example of the brand kicking people off, most likely. Now we can see they did let people on, whatever. Personally, not a fan of hopping on listings like that. So it's definitely like IP complaints, meltables, dangerous goods, stuff like that, which you should be looking at your alerts on SellerAmp to see right there as well. Yeah, and like it's tough with the supplements. Sometimes they like cancel and stuff too, but we really need to do, right? So there's those 3 things that we were talking about right at the start, right? Okay. Can I sell it? IP complaint, ungating, Is it a private label? Can we look on the Keepa and see only one person over time? Or can we look at it and see a nice arbitrage product like this that doesn't have, let's say it didn't have the IP complaint? Is the competition ebbing and flowing? Are people hopping on it, selling out, buying more, etc.? Yes, no, right? That, and then is it profitable with the profit calculator? Everything like that. Is it the kind of thing where it's out of stock and the price one person just hopped on it recently is pretty abnormally high compared to the history, right? Or is it a healthy price compared to the pricing history, right? Something to think about on this kind of stuff. And the nice thing is there's like unlimited free content of like mine, other people's, so you can go out and look at product analysis and such, basically. Yes. Okay, cool. Would you run through variations and how to know what percent of the monthly sales it holds? Yeah. So once again, not a huge fan of monthly sales and estimated sales comes looking at that stuff because it can get messed up depending on the price. But in terms of gauging velocity on a specific size and color combo, right? The best data you're going to get on that is the specific Keepa chart for that variation. Now, all the data you see right here outside of the sales rank is for this specific variation. So we can see how quick is the movement, right? How often is the competition hopping down, hopping back up, hopping down? Is the price going down? Is the price staying the same? Is the price going up? Now think about it. The only reason why the price wouldn't go down was if people were making money on it, right? So we can see the competition's been stable on something like this, and the price has been stable, and the competition hops down every once in a while, which clearly shows it's sound, and the price hasn't gone down. So we know people are making money on something like this, right? And then further kind of less anecdotal data would become from go to variations on Keepa, and then we can see the review count for different listings. Now you are going to want to arrange your Keepa column similar to mine. In here, I would recommend pausing this video if you're, watching the replay and such, watching on YouTube, and moving your columns around to match mine. And then now we can easily filter by buy box price, by lowest price, by reviews to see the demand. And then I can also see how long a specific variation's been around. How many days? If it's been around less than a year, it still might be selling a lot. It just might have no reviews, and you're going to get the data on if it's selling by looking at the specific Keepa chart right there and everything. So I hope that answers your question. That's a super good question. Basically, pre-existing sheet. I'm not sure on that, Dan. I would recommend contacting the support. That might be possible, but that's not really my kind of role at the company, basically. But I'm super down if it's possible to help make that happen for you. And that sounds like a cool thing. Basically, how do you manage when price tankers jump on a listing? So unfortunately, in the short term, you have to typically just you got to be either first in or last out, right? So people do come in and tank the price. Understand, why did it go down? Was it easy to find? You want to make the products you're buying as hard to find as possible, which come from getting as many discounts as possible, right? Which is going to come in the form of coupons, finding stuff on sale, discounted gift cards, examples where you can find something on clearance that also includes a coupon, and then ideally putting multiple of those together, right? And making them complicated, basically. I don't see offers summary in my SellerAmp extension. Do you have a special version, or is there a setting I need to change? I don't see why it wouldn't be showing right there in terms of offer summary right here. Yeah, so you can actually rearrange that on. I don't think it's an option, but it might be its own tab. You can rearrange that in your SellerAmp settings on selleramp.com. You can kind of move around the order of stuff. My bad, I haven't thought about that in like a year, but you're absolutely right. You can rearrange that and everything. Cool. Yeah, got you, man. Of course, man. Is there only one or two sellers on a Keepa variation for a non-private? It's not a red flag at all. No, it's a great sign that if it's a name brand with only a few people on it, that's a great opportunity. And you'll typically see, if you look at the Keepa chart, there'll have been more people in the past, but no, that's the whole point, right? A lot of the times private label will be a false positive on SellerAmp. It just means there's like only one or two sellers. So you got to audit the brand, and you got to audit, okay, look at the other listings in the brand if you're not sure as well, if it's a brand you haven't heard of. And then you got to audit the offer count over time as well, basically. Cool. A lot of good questions tonight. Keep them coming. Figure we'll take a few more, Casey.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, probably run until, what do you say, like a 7:50 your time or so? So maybe like 10 more minutes if that works.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Okay, I came across a listing with only 6% of the ratings. Never worry about percentage of ratings. Never worry about percentage of ratings, because percentage of ratings, is only comparing it to the other listings on that variation. Now, if something has 38 reviews, that has sold a lot, right? And you're going to know if it sells a lot by looking at the specific Keepa chart, because the Keepa chart is tied to only that variation right there. Okay, this is cool. I like this. So homie asked me to put in an ASIN here. Let's see what we got. Okay. Let's check out the Keepa on this, right? Yeah, so once again, Justin, or not once again at all, but never look at the offers tab on Keepa to gauge velocity. It's very, very inaccurate. It doesn't factor in FC transfer, yada, yada, yada. There's a ton of money lost by worrying about the offers tab on Keepa. Oh, this looks awesome. Yeah, check this out right here. So we can see the velocity is good, right? We can see there's other third-party sellers, so that vets it from an IP perspective. And we can see that the price is trending up. I think this looks like a great opportunity, depending, if the buy costs like 20 bucks, or so I think this is going to be a pretty good item. Right? This looks awesome on there. Cool. Okay, this is awesome. Yeah, I got another Keepa chart. Let's take a look. How can you know which variation sells the most? So you probably want to rewind this video when you're rewatching it, basically, but by going to variations on Keepa and the specific Keepa chart, as well as going to variations on Keepa and taking a look at the review count, as well as the individual Keepa chart, basically. So don't trust the sales. Not a huge fan of, sales drops. No, definitely not. No, I'm not a fan of that at all, basically. Ooh, this is going up in price too. Damn, you guys are sending banger ASINs. I hope you guys aren't buying this stuff. But if you're watching this like a few months in the future, this might be a good idea to look at this stuff as well. Okay, cool. A lot of money is made on high DSR items over 200K. Do you buy them? And what do you look at when you make a decision to buy them? So it's the same process for everything. Now, I personally don't buy those products. I don't even look for them because my profit per ASIN is just not going to be good on those, or the overall profit of one ASIN, because I'm not going to be able to sell a ton, basically, right? I'm not going to be able to sell a lot of them because the rank's really high on that. But I think that is, especially like with virtual assistants, if virtual assistants are doing product research for you, I think that's a great idea because it's not your time that's going into find them, right? And everything. So you kind of just got to audit that. You're going to build that muscle over time and everything. I'm personally not a fan. There's people cleaning up with that stuff. Absolutely. There's tons of ways to win. You see that 129 spike below competition. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't count on this being 129 for a while. Like, no, it has been that way for a month. Like, people have made money on this thing during this pricing increase. This is awesome. Right? Can we find this anyway? 100, yeah, it doesn't work. Kids version, boys, right there. Yeah, I'm sure people made good money on these, paying like 60 for them. Right there. Yeah, 129. That's fire. Right there. Cool. Yeah, it's at 63. Okay, so that's super, super profitable. Yeah. Very good. Cool. Okay. Good stuff. I think if anyone has one question, so I do have to run in a sec here, but this was a good session. I love talking about online arbitrage. Like, keep the questions coming. Is losing the buy box a concern? You can't worry about stuff that's out of your control. You're going to lose the buy box on stuff, but you're also going to get it. You're going to buy box bandit people and get it back as well. So if you're doing what you should be, you're an FBA seller for the most part, you're priced competitively, your delivery dates are good, which that's actually out of your control, and you're using a repricer, you're going to get the buy. Okay. Is the listing losing a buy box a concern? So once again, you can't worry about stuff that's out of your control. It happens from time to time. Now, here's a good example, right? And that if we look at Keepa, we can see this thing hasn't had a buy box since like April, basically. But we can also see that in that time frame, or March, it went from 13 sellers all the way down to just a couple right here. So we know that this does move, even though it hasn't had a buy box right there. So if something doesn't have a buy box, you want to audit and make sure, is the price still trending in the right direction? Totally is. Is the competition still going down, or has gone down? Absolutely. So we know people are making money on this right here. On that. What would you say are the most arbitrageable categories to focus on? So I'd say like really mainstream non-consumables name brands. So that's typically toys, shoes, clothing, stuff like that. Beauty, grocery, more consumables type of stuff are going to be a little bit more wholesale friendly. At the same time, I hate blanket statements. You can make a ton of money arbitraging any of that stuff. Just understand with beauty and grocery, tools, stuff like that, you are going to deal with a little bit more wholesale. It just kind of depends on like specific brands and such. So like, that's why you see a lot of like bolos are like toys, shoes, clothing, etc. Around the holidays and such, because it's stuff that people buy more in retail that they're not necessarily buying bulk. It's more boutique purchases right? I'd like never thought about that way, but it's so fucking true. Like, in terms of like how that actually works. Like it's more like one-off purchases, essentially. Okay, cool. How many hours do you spend per day to reverse source? I still have issues finding leads and I'm a year in. Yeah, so I've never really had to spend a ton of time. I definitely spent a lot more time back in the day on that, but I've always played the game on easy mode. I've always been documenting on social media. I've always been talking to other sellers. So I've always had information coming to me. People coming to me, giving me tips, right? Looking at different stuff. So I was sharing leads with people week 1. And all of you guys have the power to do that. And now most of you guys watching this call, no one's ever heard your voice. You don't tweet, right? So no one's coming to you to talk about this stuff, right? Meanwhile, people like Casey, where I've been following Casey for years, man, I can see this guy's legit. I know he's probably totally has brought value to me. We got pizza one time and such, so we've been able to make some money together on stuff, right? Because him putting himself out there, me putting myself out there, it brings opportunity to us in a way that when, you're anonymous, you're not on Twitter, you're not pretty active in Discord, this opportunity just isn't going to find you, right? So I want you guys to all play the game on easy mode. I want you to be working with your friends and stuff, and you have to find your friends to do it that way, which takes effort, and as it should, because it's where the most profitable stuff is. Right there. So I'd say probably, 2 hours a day, back in the day. A lot less these days. I get a ton of lead flow just off talking like coaching students, talking to friends in the space and everything, but as much as possible when you're new. And the key is you gotta talk to other people that are doing this. This is gonna make it a lot easier basically on that. Cool. Yeah, I love that stuff.
Thanks for watching the video. I really, really appreciate it. Check out some other videos on the channel. Let me know any questions and I'll see you guys in the next one.